Hello everybody, and I am going to do another wheel. And this time I made sure my microphone is working, so unlike the last time with the sped up preview, I'm actually going to explain what I'm doing when I'm modeling a wheel. And this one's going to be a little different than the last one. So I'm going to do a wheel using US or American English measures, inches. Of course, Wings doesn't have any units other than Wings units. So for all the purposes to where I'm saying inches, 1 inch is 1 Wings unit in this case. Alright. So I have my geometry graph here, my outliner down there. I'm using a slightly older version of Wings. 1.3.1.7.G8A4A snapshot version. And I'm going to use this version because I know Circularize works pretty well in this one. Seems like every other version it gets broken again, so I don't know. I know in this version it works quite well. So I'm going to start out with the cylinder, and I want 45 sections. Why is it divisible by 5? Because most automotive wheels have a 5 lug bolt pattern, so if you do a cylinder that's divisible by 5, that makes creating the lugs easier later on. So I'm going to get out of the shaded preview. And let's try to make this absolute commands. Let's scale this. And I'm going to scale something a bit bigger. 5. That should work for now. Oh yeah, I'm doing this as inches. Do another cylinder. It's going to do 24 for now. And this other cylinder, I want. Hold on. It's more than one way to do it. And to get from faces to edge loops like that, you just hit L for loop when you have a face selected, and it selects all the loop going around that face. So I'm just going to do Circularize and absolute diameter, and I'm going to make this 16. It's just for reference purposes later on. I'm going to hide that now. I'll do this just to double check it. I select the two end faces, hit L for loop, and Circularize, absolute diameter. I'm going to go 5.5, so that'd be like 5.5 inches. And now I'm going to inset these two faces. This is in percentage. So it's just a regular inset with left click. So now I have something like this. That. Actually, I'm going to inset this. And I'm going to do 0.25. This will be like a 1/4 inch. Rigid. See, how high is this? This is 2 units. Kinda want it to be 1 unit, so I'm going to take select this face, hit plus to expand solution. Move this up 1 inch. Yeah, 1 Wings unit, but I guess that I'm going by inches here. Now what I'm looking for is an edge that lies on an axis. So in this case I have an edge that lies on an axis. I did this 45. And I did this planning ahead because I did a pre-run to see how many spaces I would need. And I know I can do a 10 spoke pattern, which is like a star pattern. But it's like a 10 spoke pattern. Well, I'll just show you. So I do 2 here, 2 here. Now that's going to be a spoke, and I'll skip 3, but I only do this area at a time because I need to extrude out in a certain direction. So I do is right click, and I go extrude. And I right click on extrude to extrude a region in a direction. So right click extrude, hit E for edge, and I pick this edge, but I do not extrude this direction. I hit 1 and it shifts it to the edge as normal. And now I go in this direction. And I'll extrude out. Now what I do is I skip 3 here, do 2 here, 2 here, and I do the same thing again. Hit 1 for the normal, extrude out. 3 here, 2 there, 2 there. Right click extrude, go to edge, 1 for the normal, extrude out. Oh, and I use constraints too. Alright, maybe that wasn't the right constraint this time, but right click extrude, edge, normal, 1, 2, 3, I guess it was 4. Yeah, I want them consistent. 2, 3, 2, 2 there, 1, 2, and then right click extrude. Yeah, that's repetitive, but that's how making a wheel goes. Go edge, hit 1 for the normal, extrude out 4 units. 2, 3, 1, 2, 2 in there, 2 there, and now it goes back to 3 before the last one, so I know I did it right. And right click extrude, E for edge mode, 1 for normal. Oh, and in your version of Wings it might be different. I'm using mirror mode as a camera mode, so I'm just used to it. It's way back when that's how Wings did it before they came up with more than 1 camera mode. Mirror mode, I just remember, so that's the way I do it. Let's see. It's not too bad. Not too bad. What I am going to do next is I am going to flatten these faces, these little spoke. As you can see, it's already star pattern. And if you count each section that sticks out, that's a spoke. There's 10 of them. Alright, so we go. I'm going to do this grouping, and I'm going to go flatten, and I'm going to right click, pick a plane. I'm going to go vertex mode. If you had geometry class, you know that 3 points define a plane, so click those 3 points and right click to continue. Do the same thing all the way around. 4. Flatten, vertex, define the plane, flatten. I'm just doing this for consistency's sake. Flatten with the right click, vertex mode, define my plane with 3 points, continue on. And V for vertex, 3 points. There you go. Yeah, oh, I missed one. One group. And right click flatten. V for vertex. 2, 3. And yeah. That's what I want to do. Is have all these faces move under normal. And if I left them the way they were, they would expand out funny. So that's why I had to flatten them as these groups. And what I want to do is move them under normal till they hit the edge of this room. pretty darn close to it. That looks about it right there. It's not exactly perfect, but it's kind of what I want. Just close to it. There we go. Good enough. Good enough. So I'm just using this outer room as a reference right now. And do I need that outer room anymore? I don't think I do. So I can delete that. And what we are going to do now is extrude the ends of these spokes out. Just a bit. Actually, this doesn't have to be perfect. We'll see why in a moment. Alright. So now we do extrude normal. Something like that. So we have our wheel pattern, kind of the spider or center portion of the wheel. And what we do now is select these two faces across from each other, and where is it? Where is my bridge? There's bridge. Bridge that. Once you have the bridge command done, the next pair of faces, you can hit the D key to duplicate the last command. So you don't have to look for bridge in the menu anymore by right clicking. You can just pick a pair, hit D, boom. So knowing your hotkeys helps. D, boom. And just do that all the way around with the D key after you bridge the first pair. And you can see it's kind of fast that way. That's why Wings3D is a fast monitor. You're not dinking around with like 50 menus or anything. You're just getting it done. Alright. Boom, boom. Bridge. Not so bad. Now I'm going to pick this edge here. I'm going to hit I for identical. And G for ring just to make sure. And I'm going to hit C while these edges are selected to connect them. You get edges like so. Now on this group, I'm going to do the same thing. I for identical. G for ring. But now I'm going to hit a number key and I'm going to go with 9. C for connect. Not so bad. But I still kind of want a couple more edges to define this pattern. So I'm going to do is pick 5 edges like so. Notice these truncate at a corner here. So if I hit L, the loop's not going to go all the way around because it hits that corner. I kind of want it to do that because I'm going to hit G next and just C for connect. Now I should have more than enough edge rings to define the outer rim of my wheel. You know, you're like, the wheel's not round. Well, I'm going to fix that and just right now. Alright. So I pick one of those outer edges, hit L for loop. Now what I'm going to do is circularize with the middle mouse button. So I hit Circularize. I hit F for face, pick my center point. Same spot again for my plane. Now it says to pick a single vertex edge to define the... Well, basically what it does is it locks that point and keeps it from spinning around. So I'm going to go vertex mode. I'm going to pick that vertex there. And I have absolute diameter. And I'm going to go 16. That is actually a wheel size, 16-inch rims. Here in the United States, we have 16-inch rims on many cars. So that's why I'm going 16. Do the same thing on the other side. Circularize with the middle mouse button. Hit F for face, middle, middle, V for vertex. And oh, by the way, if you're an absolute diameter or relative diameter, so right now it's an absolute diameter if you look at the upper left. But if it says diametric factor, just hit the 3 key, which you'll see on your status bar at the bottom, and it will switch to relative or absolute. Well, depending on which one, but I want 16 there, like so. Now, some people might like this style pattern, and it is right now, but I actually like it round, so I'm going to fix that next. And Circularize, when you're working with incomplete sections, behaves a little different than Circularize with full loops. So as sections, I can do more than one this way. So I'm going to hit L, pick all those edges. Notice I don't want all the rest of the rings or anything, just those. And I am doing Circularize with the middle mouse button, which does it as a percentage of how circular it is. Pick the plane and pick the center, which sets the center of the actual circle it's going to use. And then I go 100%, and I just hold down my constraint to make sure it's 100%. As you can see, boom, I have the wheel, center spider section, and the start of the rim. So now I'm just going to do these like so. Same way I did the bigger sections. L. Oh, I know I gotta do both ends, huh? And L. I should be able to circularize these the same way. I noticed they didn't seem like they moved much. I don't know if they moved enough, so I'm going to try something else. I'm going to go to vertex mode, and I am going to deform, inflate cylindrical y-axis, and pick the center point and radius. So pick the center point here. My radius is going to be that point there, and I'm going to do it 100%. Let's see how that works. That looks a little bit closer to what I want. Yeah, it looks more like it. And I could probably do all these vertices here too the same way. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Sometimes these things just need a little bit of fixing. So you have alternate methods of doing it. I want these to be nice and round. Keep solar tension all the way around my wheel. So when I smooth this, I want it to look nice. So same thing on this side. And deform, inflate cylindrical, picking the center and the radius. So pick the center. And define the radius. And 100% there. Now it's a nice smooth circle all the way around. If I do a view quick smooth preview, you can see I have a nice starter wheel. You're like, why don't you turn your wheel sideways or anything? The reason why I keep my wheel aligned to the y-axis when I make them, it's just a lot easier to make them. And I can use, what is it, the merge command after I save my wheels and use them in other files, and I can position them after I merge them. But now we're not going to do that just yet. We're just making a wheel this time around. When I start making a car or something, you'll see how that works. Yeah, so view, quick smooth preview. Got a kind of nice wheel pattern here. I am going to extrude the center up just a little bit. And scale it in a little bit, like so. On the back side, 3/4 inch. Hit L. I'm gonna make that edge hard. And this one I'm going to collapse. This one I will make this. Why don't I unset and collapse? And I hit L for loop. Make that hard. If you don't notice, I can shift sections or selections. I mean, selections. So if I have this vertex picked, all the edges around it, if I go to edges, get highlighted. If I have that vertex picked again, I can select all the faces that are attached. It's kind of nice that way. Lets you do things really fast in Wings. Consider that one of the nice features of it. A lot of other modelers don't have it, and that slows me down when I try using them. Wings is just fast that way. So I pick that vertex, go edges, C to connect, and I get a loop just like do it. And what I'm going to do is make a loop here from an edge ring. And I'm going to circularize that loop with an absolute diameter of 4.5. That's a little bit tight. But I think I'll do something here. I think I will just go in the Y view and just going to make the center section. I'm going to scale this radial Y a little bit like so. Still got a nice start pattern. Go back to that loop I was just working with. Circularize it again, absolute diameter 4.5. Now I have a little bit more meat on the center portion. And why 4.5? Because that is the log bolt pattern diameter on most cars. At least American cars. European are like millimeters, like 100 something millimeters, but I don't know offhand. But it's metric, but I'm going with English measure. I guess some Britons still use that too, right? Some of the English. But it's more common stateside. And circularize here. 4.5. And where do I want my lugs? So my lugs in the center of this area. Or do I want the center of that? Sometimes you make these little arbitrary decisions. I'm gonna say I want my lugs in the center of that. So I'll connect here. And I'm going to line up here, there, and there. If you notice, the are 5 evenly spaced. And I'm going to hit 2. Just give me a vertex to work with. Go to edges, vertex again, faces. And hit L for loop. Actually, I can't do it this way this time. So I just realized something. I gotta do them one at a time because I want to specify that point as the center. So, vertex, face, L for loop. I can hit A to aim and get close. So what I want to do is circularize this with the middle mouse button. And I want to go with vertex. I want that as my center point. Plane it the same way. and edge to lock. So I'm going to lock an edge. And I want my diameter to be 1. So it's like a 1-inch diameter. Same thing there. So I pick that vertex I put in the center point. So just using it to reference the center. Hit E for edge, V for vertex, F for face, L for loop. Circularize the middle mouse button. V for vertex, find that center point. Same for plane. And E for edge to keep the edge locked up in alignment. And absolute diameter 1. Seeing how that looks already? I think you can. And you just repeat it all the way around. Yeah, seems tedious, but that's how 3D modeling goes. Edge, vertex, face, loop, and circularize middle mouse button. V for vertex, center point plane, E for edge, and 1 in absolute. Can I do a D? Yes, I can. I can do a D with that. So I don't even have to hunt circularize. I can use D to do that command again. Oops, wrong key, but I must have hit W for wireframe. That's so cool. Didn't even hurt anything. Just gonna slide this, or should I just use Circularize to slide it out? Harness hard. So you can see the start of the log pattern here. Since I have my centers defined on these now, I don't really need those vertices anymore. Where are those faces even? So I can dissolve those with a right click. And I am going to inset with the middle mouse button. Just ever so slightly. Expand that selection, hit L for loop, and I'm going to make those edges hard. But those are the holes for the lug nuts, the lug bolting pattern. Or at least that's the start of it. Oh, and if you remember my other tutorial where I showed you how to make a bolt head, well, that's your lug nut right there. So I'm not going to bother modeling that. You'll just have to look at my other demonstrations and find it. And it's pretty simple. It's a lot shorter in this process. Let's treat that in just a little bit. And let's treat some more. Expand that selection, pick those loops. Hardness is hard. There you go. And what I'm doing is I'm making these control edges hard. Notice these edges that actually have the bend are still soft. But where you want to stop the control edge, I make those hard. At least in this case I do. Now let's do a quick smooth preview. Take a look. You can see we got a neat wheel pattern started here. And on the back side, pick that vertex, go to edges, connect. Edge ring connect. Oh, excuse me. It's my soda speaking again. Alright. And I should be able to just slide this. Where is slide? Alright. There it is. Okay. Now the same way I did those. If I remember right, this is 45, 4.5 across. Close to it. Yeah, 2.25 from the center. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think I eyeballed it correctly. And I just hit 2 to split those. Vertex. We're in the same trick we did before. Go edge. Go vertex. And go face. L for loop. And circularize with the middle mouse button. Use that little point center and plane. E for edge. And this time the diameter I'm going to do, let's do 0.5. Yeah, 0.5. And like, why is that one smaller? There's a reason for it. Alright. There's a reason for it. And vertex and face. Loop. Show. Circularize. Vertex. Edge. So diameter 5. Notice by indexing to that vertex, the center here is going to be the same as the center on the opposite side. For other reason there. I did it this way. Vertex and face and loop, and D to repeat the last command I did, which was circularize. B for vertex again. E for edge. Add. Go right back to that one. See how fast hotkeys can go. Because I'm not even bringing up the menus. One extra vertex there. And when I'm hitting A to aim it, by the way, if you didn't know that already. And the last command, if E for vertex, and E for edge. You notice how I'm staying with the same selections a lot? That's why I don't have smart highlighting turned on. It's also part of the reason why I use an older version of Wings, because they don't let you turn that off anymore, and that was really annoying to me, so I just stuck with an older version that works with the workflow I am used to. So, just right click dissolve because I don't need that inside stuff. And here you go. Inset those, doesn't matter how much. I can hit L for the loops, and all of those I circularize, absolute diameter of 0.5. I'm going to move that down a little bit. Make this like a conical section. Cupped section. Make those hard. And if you can figure out what I just did here, these are all for all my wheel studs. Bridge. Let's see. So this would fit through there. Of course, in a model you might never see that, but if you had the wheel off your car for some reason. There, it's modeled like So all those go through. And make these loops. Hey, I'm going back over it again. Actually picking edges to make a ring. Going to face mode, loops, reset. Notice the heart. Here. These don't need a control edge because those edges are hard and you're not going to move on me. If you look at the model here, you can see the center section of my wheel is defined rather nicely. So what I'm going to do is inset that with a right click, just a little bit like so. And I'm going to inset it again with the right click. And I'm going to move this y-axis. Probably just extrude that, but everybody has their own way. So with the right click, L, I'm going to make that hard edge. Go around that, add some control edges, and set with the right click just enough. L, make those hard. And as you can see, the transition edge, or the edge that goes on the curve, it's not hard, but the edges that block the tension, those are hard. So when I go view, quick smooth preview, you can see how that works. You can see how the edges when I have the wires on. Here you go. And what else do we need to do with this wheel? Well, we can always go to sections like this and just even out the tension on them. Like so, and circularize the middle mouse button. This one, it would go all the way through in a loop. So these, I'm just going to pick a pair. Like so. Each section. And I'm going to hit Alt L to expand the selection because otherwise it would loop all the way through. And I just want it to come up to that edge here. Same thing with Circularize again. Middle mouse button. As you can see, I'm just bringing it so the flow is all circular here. These truncate at a corner, believe it or not, so I can just hit single edges, hit L. Same process. Make it nice and neat. So now we have a nice circular flow here. Doesn't have to be that way, you could probably get away without doing it. I just kind of like the pattern to flow. Select those edges. I'm going to circularize that. So I might want that for my centering hole. I'll actually do the back side because I did the holes all the way through. So. Sure what the centering hole diameter is, so I'm just going to eyeball it. Make something up. And slide. There. It does looks like the wheel from the back. View, quick smooth preview. But it's still not done yet. Even though the center looks kind of finished. The rest of it isn't. Like, what is that? Well, all these spokes, if you notice in the quick smooth preview, quick smooth preview, there's like a lot of webby, blobby stuff, and I'm not that big a fan of how that looks, so what I'm going to do is pick every other spoke. So, I for identical. Oh, it's not going to work this time. So I'm just going to pick everyone. Sometimes there's just a tiny little fraction off and I for identical doesn't work, so I'll just do it this way. Pick everyone like that. G for ring. Go to face mode, which you can also do with F. And we are going to inset with the right click. And I'm just going to do it a tiny bit like so. And what that does is it gives me extra loops here. It will control, so I'm going to hit L for loop. And I'm going to set those to hard. Now when we do the quick smooth preview, see those spokes are a lot tighter on this wheel. A lot tighter. The wheel's not done yet. I gotta work on the rim now. So G, connect. G, connect. And what I want to do is get a ring here. G for edge ring. And I'm going to extrude. I'm going to extrude an entire inch on this side. So now if I measure between these two vertices, I have just a little over 2 inches. And ring on this side. So 2 inches there. I want to add 4 inches there. So I'm going to extrude 4 inches. It gives me a 6-inch rim here. Just going to dissolve those with the right click. And it's still a little over 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is goofy trick. See those edges? I just picked those 2 edges. And I am just going to go flatten Y right to that. Right now it doesn't look so great, but I'm going to move it back down. Y. 6. And that'll give me exactly 6. There we go, see? Yeah. Right there. Good enough, I think. Here. Inset. The right click. And about that much. Those hard, set that hard, like so. And here's my bead for the rim. The tire sits in right. Hard, and the outer edge of the bead I like it in another loop. We'll make those hard. This inside is probably going to be contoured, but normally you don't see that on our wheels because the tire sits over it. You can actually add your valve stem and stuff, but you can do that, you can just stick it right through the mesh. It's a quick and easy way. Alright. Not gonna do that here though. So you've got your rim. There are 10 spokes, but they're in a 5-star kind of pattern. Standard lug nut pattern. Or 5-bolt pattern. So now all we need is, this is a bare rim. So we want to add a tire to it. G. Span that out. And shell extrude. It's like almost like an instant tire there. And make that tire too thick. Sidewalls of a tire usually aren't perfectly flat. Let's do connect. Move normal. Just give it a nice contour of sorts. And the inside of this tire, make it a hole because we're not going to see the inside of this tire. Because the rim sits over it. And as you can see, you got a rim with the tire, but some people model the treads on a tire, but you get ridiculous amount of polygons that way. So instead of doing it that way, we are going to actually map the tire. Let's make this the rim material first. So go full object, pick it, go faces, material, just call it real rim metal. Cast aluminum, composite, whatever, but it's just a metal. Real generic. Alright. Give you an idea. And for this, we are actually going to UV map the tire. Oh yeah, I should probably rename the actual object. So we want to rename this wheel rim, and rename this wheel tire. There you go. And pick the tire, and I'm going to UV map it. Just bring up this window, and I want to select an edge. I'm going to go select all edges, and then I'm going to unmark the edges for cut. Some of the ones that start out marked, I don't want marked. So I'm going to do here is do the side walls like so, separate them from the rest. The loops here. I'm going to mark those edges for cut. And then I'm going to cut the wheel in half. So on opposite sides. Pick those edges like so. And mark those edges for cut. Now here I think the tension's just fine for what it is. So what we are going to do is continue start out with projection normal, and we have our wheel here. Notice the sidewalls are still goofy. Pick the side, or the actual tread areas, and what we do is for your remap UV and those two, we are going to unfold. Select all of them, and scale. We want normalize sizes. Move these two center Y. Now we're going to rotate chart to Y. Pick one of those edges, rotate chart to Y. And now we're going to move this free for now. See. Okay, that one goes on the bottom. Which means this one goes on the top. And this has to rotate 180 degrees. So I do like to index at least part of the tire. And it looks like I have to rotate this 180 too. Rotate 180 degrees. And scale everything down a little bit so we have extra blade room here. And let's say about 90%. This horizontal, like so. And then I'm going to try to index it if I have enough room. That's what I call it. What you do is you match up one edge of the tire with this other edge. Ooh, I am close. I moved the wrong way. See how that matches up? And you don't exactly have a snap to in UV mapping, so you just kind of have to eyeball it. Same thing on the other side. Free. See if you can match that up. Oh, I got it on the first try. And I'm going to get that away from the edge so there's a little bit of room for bleeding when you paint. Horizontal. When you paint textures on, you always want to have room for bleed over. Because if you don't have any bleed over, what will happen is the anti-aliasing will pull in a texture from an outside edge and it will screw up your colors. That looks good enough. Create texture. Those settings are fine. Okay. Now I can close that up. And I'm going to rename this. Edit material. Oh, not that. Actually, I want to rename material. Tire mat. And this one will be, instead of wheel tire AV, will be tire map. Map and mat. Because the map will go to that mat. Here we go. Flow isn't used anymore. And now we have a wheel with a tire. The tire is textured, although it doesn't show so well here. It is textured. And everything's done. Looks nice. You got a wheel you can use on your car model. And next time you make a model with a car, you just go and use the merge command, but we are going to save this. So let's do this, save as. And I already have an area where I keep wheels. So I'm going to go wheel 10 spoke. It is 10 spokes. And I'm going to call it star. So it's a wheel 10 spoke star. There we go. Next time I model a car, I might use this one. Now you know how it's done. Enjoy.